Hello, I'm Ward Bell of IdeaBlade with another in a series of videos about the TempHire Cocktail reference application. My good friend and colleague Marcel Good is the chief architect and principal maintainer of Cocktail, an open source framework for end-to-end development of XAML-based business applications. Marcel gave me a guided tour of the TempHire application, and this series is the result. In this video, we look at the TempHire solution structure for the Silverlight version of TempHire. This version closely parallels the WPF solution, borrowing most of the WPF codebase word for word. And that's the point. DevForce and Cocktail make it easy to repurpose much of your application logic across different client technologies. Let's see those similarities and differences now. Well, Marcel, we've been exploring the WPF version, but what about the Silverlight version of TempHire?
Yeah, the Silverlight version has a lot in common, but there are a few differences. So we see here the two solutions side by side. On the right side, we still have the WPF version, and on the left side, we now have the Silverlight solution. You'll see a lot looks similar.
They look very much the same. They look
very much the same. You'll see most of the projects have a .sl extension at the end. So the main difference here is that they're getting compiled for Silverlight instead of .NET WPF.
Right, because we have to use Silverlight DLLs. We can't compile against .NET.
Exactly. It's a different target framework, right? If you look at the project files, that's essentially how it's differentiated. But for example, a lot of the projects are pretty much the same. We'll see here the common. It's the same. It's the same code files that are actually brought in, just in a different project file, but it's the same source code.
Got it.
The domain models up here.
Yeah, that was a folder, not a project.
Right. So right now that's a folder.
But inside?
Inside you'll see the domain model project again, which is the very same domain model project that we see over in the WPF solution. In Silverlight, this is the domain model that's used on the server.
Got it.
Right. But now on the client side, because it's a different runtime, we need a Silverlight version of that domain model as well, so that the Silverlight application knows about the model classes and the metadata and all that. So we'll see that it pretty much links the files from the domain model project into this Silverlight assembly.
They're all links. They're all
links. Yeah, they're all links. So it's the entity classes, it's the metadata linked over, and it's the entity manager linked over. So pretty much the pieces of the domain model that we need on the client side for this to function.
So we're getting complete source code fidelity here. If the only real difference is the compilation, so I'm going to get my changes propagated across the environments if I recompile.
Exactly. This is the DevForce promise that we get here, that the source code is really the same on the server and on the client. If you make a model change on the server, it's going to be reflected on the client immediately.
So that's the bird's eye view, huh?
That's correct.
Yes, the Silverlight and WPF versions are remarkably similar, even to the extent that both make asynchronous calls to the server, a requirement in Silverlight, a felicitous choice in WPF. We'll be looking at the WPF version of TempHire for the remainder of this series, exploring these projects in greater depth, beginning in the next video with the domain model. You'll find the domain model video and more at cocktail.ideablade.com.